Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of the Created for This podcast. I am so excited that you're joining me. Guys, it's June. When did June happen? I feel like I've been saying this every single month, but time is flying, guys. And we have a whole nother 6 months that we can use and love and enjoy, and it's gonna be good. I'm excited. I just did my video for my June power sheets, so you can watch that on my YouTube channel, which is Created for This. The channel, and then you can search for Danielle Roberts or Danielle M. Roberts and find that as well. I wanted to give you guys kind of a lowdown of what you can expect this next month. We are talking strategy, which is one of my favorite things in the business world. It's what brought me into business as I was strategizing some marketing, some visibility, some outreach for my friend. And if you want to hear the whole story about that, you can head to the episode where I talk about, I think it's called Testimony of God's Goodness, and it's episode 6. And that's available on the podcast. It's also available on my YouTube channel as well. So either place, either way you want to hear, see, you can even read it on my website under the blog section, which is called Journal, I believe, or Diary. I can't remember if I changed it. So that's what we're talking about this month. And I have some really fun people that are going to be coming on that I'm super excited about. I've got some great guests lined up, so guys, it's going to be good. Like, this next 6 months, I'm so excited for. And so today, I'm going to share a little bit about I wouldn't call it a secret. There's people that know about it. About something that I do daily, or at least have for the last 5 months of my life. Or 3 months, I should say, and that is playing the lovely, somewhat old game of Candy Crush on my Kindle. Alright, so Candy Crush. You're probably like, Danielle, Candy Crush? Really? I spend lots of time feeding my son. I don't know if you've ever dealt with a newborn, but they eat a lot. And they eat constantly, or for long periods of time. So, as I spend multiple hours of my day feeding my cuteness, I have lots of time. And sometimes, I don't know about you, but I cannot go for hours and hours and hours without having a brain break. I've talked before about how Candy Crush has done a really good job of marketing, remarketing, saying, take a break, de-stress, chill out. And it's marvelous because it's true. Like, I do hop on Candy Crush to give my brain a break. But today we're going to talk about the lessons that are reinforced as you play Candy Crush, or that I think of because my brain is more strategic. I want to be a problem solver. I want to think through things and give myself some different angles to think about business at. I don't want to come at business from one point. And that's why it's really, really good with the background that I have with doing so many things. That's been helpful. And then looking at things like this, saying, okay, Candy Crush can teach you lessons, or it can reinforce the lessons that you've already learned. Because as a business owner and a human, I think, like, we've learned so many lessons. And the lessons just continue to get reinforced, and we look at things in a different way, and we're able to use those lessons, bring them into our business, bring them into our faith, bring them into our life as we're passing lessons on. If you're a mentor, you're passing the lessons on to your mentee. So the first lesson is, and I talked about this in an episode a couple weeks ago, but who to listen to. I usually play Candy Crush when I'm with my family, or at least my kids like to watch me play. Not the baby, the 6, 4, and 2-year-old like to watch me play. And my husband will sometimes watch as well. So I will get all kinds of lovely advice as to what to do next, how to do it. And so I need to be really discerning as to who I'm going to listen to. That same thing can be brought into business. Who am I listening to when it comes to important decisions? Who am I listening to when it's everyday life and I have to figure out what I'm going to prioritize? The world's going to tell you so many different things. You have to have a really, really strong conviction of who you're listening to and who you're not listening to. Because as much as my husband loves to give advice, he might not be the best person to listen to if he doesn't fully understand my strategy as I'm looking at my Candy Crush game. I'm on level 478, which, you guys, I sound silly saying that. But that's, as I've done this a lot, as I've learned different strategies and different ways to play, I've really figured out the best way that works for me. And that's not saying I don't adjust, because I do adjust how I'm playing versus, the past levels. But my husband might not be able to read my mind. Really, seriously, sometimes he doesn't. And so if he doesn't know that, I can't listen to him because he might not give the best advice. And so if you want more on this topic, you can go back and listen to my previous episode. And I'll link it in the show notes too. It's really, really important to have those people who we can trust and who we know want good for us, because they're the ones that are going to help us get to that next level. And that's a comparison that can be made. The next one is, I don't know if you can believe this, but I haven't passed every single level on the first try, or the second try, or the 8th try. But I've learned lessons when I've failed. And that is so similar to what happens in business. We do not always succeed at the first go. And so we have to take those lessons that we've learned, those hard lessons from failing, and move forward. Just like I take every lesson that I learn saying, oh, well, if I could have moved a piece this way, or done this differently, or realized that I was running out of time, those lessons I take the next time I start that same level. And that is very similar to what we do in business, because we are able to take those things in that same instance, or or even different instances. If I'm saying, okay, well, I can do this better in this platform, or if I can record something differently, or if I can meet up with my ideal client in a different way, if I can show up better, or if I can show up in a different way, that's taking lessons that I've learned previously because maybe I haven't been able to show up in the right way. Maybe I am not matching up with what my ideal client wants or what they need or what they perceive to need or not need. And those lessons, taking those and saying, okay, well, let's reevaluate. Let's change what we're doing and move forward. It's invaluable to take the lessons that you've learned previously and move forward with those, because you need to be able to remember those lessons. Maybe that means journaling, or maybe it means writing those down. Say, the next time I do this, be careful for this. Or the next time I do this, let's change it and add this. And that goes along with the next lesson of persistence. My daughter is such a sweet cheerleader, and she is always, minus one time this past weekend, she's always very, very encouraging. And she'll be like, oh, good job, Mom. Even if you didn't get it, you did a good job. And it's so, so sweet, but it's such a good reminder that we need to be persistent. If we fail a level, if we fail doing something, if I fail that same level like 50 times, I'm still learning and I'm still moving forward. Yes, I feel a little bit stuck, but I have to figure out how it is that I can get through that level, what the difference is, and maybe better way how to change. When I decide to be persistent, when I decide that I am going to keep going, it's going to move me forward. And for you, that might be changing how you're writing, changing your website, changing how you are showing up on social media, changing to do less. And sometimes less equals more. If you want to move forward in your business, you're going to have to be persistent. I mentioned in my devotional created for this that you are not always going to have the happy-go-lucky times. And we have to persist and we have to keep going. You're not always going to have the down or dump times. Those are the times when persistence feels so sweet and so good, because you know that you've gotten through that last hurdle, or you've done something different that you can celebrate. And I encourage you to celebrate. My kids, and I'm talking about my kids a lot because we play Candy Crush together, ultimately. They're so excited when I pass a level. And I mean, I am too, but it's more like, okay, cool. Like, let's see what's the next thing, because I'm not in it to win it. Like, I'm not in it to get to that finish line and be like, yeah. But they're so excited. They're like, yeah, you did it, Mom. Good job. And we need to be able to celebrate when we can take the persistence. So, something else that you can take away from Candy Crush is to celebrate. Celebrate your wins. Celebrate, that you've done it, that you've persisted, that you've gotten to where you want to be, and you've met that last level. Now, sometimes it's not as clear and defined as a video game level, or I guess I don't know what they call it. But maybe it's not as defined. Maybe you need to make definitions of what your level is going to be and where you're going to celebrate at. If I say, I'm going to celebrate every week that I'm making money, or that I'm in business and I'm not in debt, like, that's a huge thing. Because not every business is like that. I'm celebrating and I'm saying, yes, thank you, God. Thank you that I'm here. And that's something to celebrate just in and of itself. So persist, keep going. You got it, girl. And then taking time to looking at everything from all angles. This is something that I sometimes don't do in Candy Crush. And it's detrimental to me passing the level because I'm missing something. I don't know if you've played, but there's different orders, they call them. So you have to get like 160 blue Candy Crush pieces. And to do that, you have to line them up in a line, or, you know, get them in another way. With that, if I'm not seeing all the other places that I could be collecting those blue pieces, I'm missing out. And that means it's going to take that much longer to get to finish to the level or to get where I need to be. And so in business, when we take that time and look at things from all angles, we are going to, I want to say, have an easier time, or have a time when we are understanding things better. And that's going to look differently for every single business. But take time to stand back if you can. If you need to hire a strategist to kind of step back from your business and get that outsider viewpoint, I'm happy to help you, because that's one of the things I love to do, is kind of take that step back and say, okay, where are we missing the mark? Or where are we doing awesome at? Like, how can we help you move forward in your strengths? But taking time to look at things from those angles is going to be really, really good for you as you continue to grow, as you continue to work on your strengths. Like I said, like, we want to take strengths and multiply them. And when we take the time to look at things from all angles, that really helps. So those are the lessons I've learned from Candy Crush. It's probably kind of one of those things you're like, oh yeah, I didn't think about it that way. I hope that's the case. I hope you don't think I'm crazy. But you know, my love of the game is the fact that I can take away life lessons or business lessons and enjoy them, and be able to share them with you. Because even though I'm sitting here playing Candy Crush for, you know, hours a day when I feed my kid, it's not really hours because I run out of lives. But when I'm spending, you know, time working on stuff and I can think of stuff to share with you guys, it makes me so happy. Because I love enriching your guys' lives and giving you different ways to think about things. So if you would like a strategy session, like I said, you can find out information on my website, DanielleMRoberts.com. And that's where you find me, or you can find me on Instagram, and you can find those links in the show notes or on my website. And I will talk with you guys later. Have a great week.